Hey friend, welcome back to Running to Myself. I'm your host, Trisha Stanton. Today's episode is going to be one that hits home for a lot of us. It's about the labels we give ourselves and how far too often those labels become our limits. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, I'm just not good at that, or I'll never be that type of person? Maybe you've even said things like, I'm not a runner, or I can't lead a team. Here's one I hear often when I first begin working with a new client. That's just the way I am. We all have labels we've adopted, but here's the truth. Your label is your limit. These labels, whether they're about our abilities, our identities, or what we're supposed to do in life, they hold us back. They define us before we even give ourselves a chance to break free. They keep us small. Today, I want to dive into this concept and give you some real, actionable steps to recognize and break out of those limiting labels. It's time for you to break out of that too small box you are in. Let's get started. First, let's define what I mean by labels. Labels are those identifiers we attach to ourselves, often subconsciously, that shape our view of who we are and what we can do. These labels could be based on past experiences, societal expectations, or even the stories we've been told by others, especially labels we grew up with in our family structures. Some examples include, I'm not athletic, I'm bad with money, I'm not a good communicator, I'm too old or too young for that. The problem is, these labels become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Once we label ourselves, it can feel like we're stuck in that box forever, but labels aren't truths. They're just stories we tell ourselves. Let me give you a personal example. When I first started running marathons, I labeled myself as not an athlete. I came from a non-sporty background. No one in my family ran. The thought of running long distances felt far outside of my identity. And the truth is, it was at the time. But here's the thing. I had the ability. I just needed to shift my belief about who I was and what I could do. Once I stopped labeling myself as not an athlete, I was able to create new possibilities for myself. I was able to expand who I was. Another common label people use is, I'm not a leader. This one's huge, especially for women. If we don't see ourselves as capable leaders, we avoid stepping into leadership roles even when we have the skills or the desire to do so. Our own self-imposed label limits the impact we can have. Labels have a profound impact on us. They influence our decisions, our actions, and our overall life trajectory. For example, if you believe you're not creative, you may avoid pursuing artistic hobbies or career paths. If you think you're bad with people, you might shy away from social situations or career opportunities that require strong interpersonal skills. If you label yourself as not a morning person, you may never tap into the potential of a morning routine that could set you up for a successful day. Your mind will always seek evidence to confirm the labels you've adopted. Your behavior will align with these self-imposed boundaries, and you may feel stuck, like you're not moving forward, but you're not quite sure why, because your belief in the label is so strong that you don't even consider that it could be the very thing keeping you stuck. So what can we do to break out of this cycle? How do we go from being limited by our labels to expanding into the biggest, best, most vibrant version of ourselves? Here are some practical steps to get you started. Recognize the label. Start by identifying the labels you've adopted. What do you tell yourself about who you are or what you can do? Write them down and take a hard look. Awareness really is the first step toward change. This may take some time, and you may need to think about it for a few days, because it's likely that you have been carrying your labels around for so long that you actually believe they are a part of who you are. You might be very attached to some of them, afraid to let go, because what would that mean about what you have believed about yourself for all these years? It's okay if it feels scary. Change often does. Challenge the label. Ask yourself, is this idea about myself really true? If you were to look at your life and experiences without this label, what could you achieve? I love this question. It opens you up to so much possibility. It allows you to dream of all sorts of opportunities and experiences that you may have kept from yourself simply because of the labels you have accepted to be true. Shift your self-talk. Begin to reframe the language you use about yourself. Instead of saying, I'm not good at communicating my needs in a relationship, try, I'm working on improving my communication skills. Instead of, I'm not a leader, try, I'm growing into a leader. Language shapes your identity, so choose words that empower you. Find evidence to the contrary. Look for evidence in your life that contradicts your labels. Maybe you've had moments where you succeeded in areas you thought you couldn't. Hold on to those moments. They're proof that the labels you've accepted are not who you really are. And while you're at it, find opportunities to create evidence to the contrary as well. Take small steps into a new way of thinking about how you think about yourself. Step outside of your comfort zone. To break free of labels, you need to take action. Choose one small thing that challenges a label you've given yourself. If you've labeled yourself as not athletic, maybe try a 10-minute workout. If you've labeled yourself as not a good communicator, strike up a conversation with a stranger. These small steps will build your confidence and reshape your self-image. What's so powerful about breaking free from labels is the endless possibility it opens up for you. When you stop limiting yourself by past stories, you create space for growth. You can become the person who leads a team even if you never thought you could, runs a marathon even if you never thought you were athletic, builds wealth even if you've always been bad with money. The beauty of shedding these limiting labels is that you get to define who you are. You get to choose who you want to become. So I challenge you today. Take a look at the labels you've been carrying around. Are they helping you grow or are they holding you back? It's time to let go of those limits and start stepping into the potential that's always been inside of you. Thanks so much for listening to Running to Myself today. If you're ready to break free from the labels that are keeping you small, I'd love to help you on that journey. Reach out to me anytime. I'm here for it. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the show if you found this episode to be helpful. And as always, keep running toward the best version of yourself. Until next time, remember, mindset matters.